When Black Ops 3 released back in 2015, Treyarch gave us zombie players a remastered version of the Riese called The Giant. To many fans' delight, it was a complete reimagining of the classic map, with it being in a whole new universe along with having an arsenal of Black Ops 3 weapons and a specialist. Many fans, however, were not as pleased. They felt that The Giant did not do the classic Riese map justice, as it wasn't gritty enough and took away or added many features that removed the nostalgic feel from it. On October 29, 2020, the map developers you see on screen here gave the community a map that met fans in the middle by giving us a remaster that brings the Riese into its ultimate form. Just a reminder before we start, I have a playlist of all my custom map retrospectives on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you're seeing this video within the first 7 days of release, be sure to hype the video, it really helps out the channel a lot. The Riese Declassified restores the grit of World at War aesthetics, adds a full-scale Easter egg quest, complete with a boss fight, and layers in narrative details that enrich Group 935's dark history. It differs greatly from its Giant counterpart. The universe is completely different. This acts like a replacement for the original The Riese, taking place after Shino Numa and before Kino der Toten in the Ultimus timeline. The aesthetics have completely changed, with the removal of snow and darker lighting, along with a warmer color palette. The Max Ammo logo is even orange instead of the usual blue. The arsenal of weapons has also dramatically changed, going from the futuristic Black Ops 3 weaponry to a more period-appropriate collection of weapons found in World at War and COD World War II. A lot of these weapons are familiar from the original World at War map, but the COD World War II weapons slot in very well. It's almost unnoticeable. On the topic of weapons, the Wunderwaffe DG2 and the ray gun are still the wonder weapons of the map. However, the Wunderwaffe DG Sharpshoots has been brought over from Tag der Toten, and its parts can be collected as part of the teleporting segment of the main quest. More on that later. I still prefer the DG2 over this one, but it's pretty easy to get to that point in the quest, so you can't really go wrong with a free wonder weapon. As for the specialists, the Ragnarok show up here instead of the Annihilator, thankfully. That thing sucked. To build them, you can collect 2 parts lying on the ground, one in the Thompson room, and one where all the cages are near the brain tubes. The last part you can get only if you do the first teleport segment of the main quest. The Ragnaroks are nothing new, so if you've used them once before, you know what you're in for, but I prefer them as a specialist here over the Annihilator. As for perks, all of the ones you could find in the Black Ops 1 version are physically available on the map. And a really cool feature the devs added was a new type of Wonderfizz machine modeled after the Cola machine in Black Ops 4, in the spot where the snow melts to reveal either Stamina Up or Deadshot on the Giant. This Wonderfizz only spits out a selection of perks that aren't physically on the map. It has PhD, Stamina Up, Deadshot, Electric Cherry, Ethereal Razor, and Time Slip. Now those last two are ported from Black Ops 4, and even though they may not be the most useful perks in the world, I love the variety they add. A cool thing that you don't see many custom maps feature is a dynamic sound system that plays music and custom sound effects during certain points in your journey. It's mostly noticeable at major points during the Easter egg and setup. The music that plays when you turn on power gives me the creeps. Take a quick listen.
Power's on. What? No objective completed update? You guys are getting lazy.
Also, the dialogue system got a huge upgrade to the level of Black Ops 4. Characters will respond and react to each other and the environment using voice lines you may have never even heard before. I unfortunately haven't played much of this map in co-op, so I can't really appreciate the communication between the characters, but the individual responses to the environment or the Easter egg steps is a really nice touch in making the Riese feel alive.
Victory! USSR! USSR! Forget it.
Riese Declassified adds a few side quests for players to do if they find themselves quest hungry. You can get upgraded grenades and monkey bombs. For the grenades, you need to blow up every red barrel outside the map. Once that's done, your grenades will one-shot until round 28, have a bigger radius, and glow red. The upgraded monkeys can be obtained by getting 30 kills with the base monkeys, and then throwing one into the furnace. They become the Simian Bomb, and act like the upgraded monkeys on Gorod Krovi. These quests are fairly simple, and you could kinda sorta do them in the background while you and your team gather points and get set up, but they make your equipment extra effective so you can't really go wrong. Just like the Chronicles maps, there's a Samantha doll hide-and-seek Easter egg. To start it, you have to interact with 4 buttons around the map, and then go find the doll near Teleporter A. Interacting with it will start a 90-second countdown where you have to find 4 dolls around the map and shoot them. Once done, interacting with the original doll will raise a skeleton out of the ground that grabs it and leaves you max ammo, along with playing the song Remember Forever. A little side note here, a lot of the Easter egg guides I've seen have hitting these buttons as part of the main quest, but that's just not true. It's just for the side Easter egg. On the topic of hidden songs, there's the OG hidden song on Riese, but there's one more special one. If you find 3 books lying around the map, each with different words on them, you can place them on this table at Teleporter B and fill them up with souls. If you read what's on the books, it says, "I'm on Riese." Now if that doesn't trigger some deep cut memory, I think you missed out. This is the song that plays.
I'm on Riese. I'm on Riese. Everybody look at me cause I'm pissing on a zombie. I'm on Riese. I'm on Riese. Take a good hard look at the motherfucking map.
Okay, I don't think I can play anymore without triggering copyright stuff, but I'll link it below if you really want to listen to it. Anyway, that's it for the side content on this map. But before we get into the main quest, I want to take a dive into the hidden story of this map. Riese Declassified has a plethora of lore-friendly radios and recordings scattered around the map. Now, in my past retrospectives, I've let the radios play out in their entirety, but this map has so many, I think it'd add about an extra 10 minutes to the video's runtime, so I'm going to do my best just to summarize them. I'll leave a link below to an unlisted video with all the full-length files if you're interested. The first set of intel I want to look at is the film reels. These can be found around the map and put into a projector at Teleporter A. Nothing appears on the screen besides an image, but you can hear a voice. A man named Officer Ryan Jackson is tasked with reporting on the Nova 6 project, and that he's heard the Germans have a lot still at their facilities. In 1968, Officer Jackson begins documenting his role in monitoring intelligence tied to Project Nova. Under the orders from Richard Kane, Jackson tracked reports of a hidden stockpile of Nova 6 in abandoned German facilities. A Marine unit was sent out to the Riese facility, and it was uncovered that the Soviets already seized much of the site's technology connected to the Wonder Weapons program. The remaining scientists were executed, and whatever the Soviets couldn't take, they destroyed. Later, Jackson was able to get into a terminal messaging system using Alex Mason's login information and found a note from 8 years in the future. He says he needs to investigate this further. He later says that whatever techniques they used to mess with Mason's mind, they found at Riese. In that same audio reel, his voice changes slightly, and he proceeds to say that Mason, Hudson, and Woods all must die. In the last reel, Jackson really goes off the deep end. It's 30 years later, and thinks the people behind the GK Nova 6 are still following him. A loud knock is heard on the door, he freaks out, they eventually get in, he screams, "You brainwashed me." A gunshot is heard, and the recording ends. I'm gonna be honest here, I'm not too familiar with the Black Ops story lore, but I know he was the CIA chief analyst during the events of Black Ops, so I don't really know how all this ties in. If you do, please let me know in the comments. The next set of intel is from the radios scattered around the map. The ones found in the original Riese map are still there, but there's one extra one, that's from Dr. Monty. The Monty radio comes from a different time period and talks about the cycle at this point in time and how this place was one of the top 3 worst places we've been. The last set of intel is 2 punch cards found hidden in the map. These can be taken and inserted into a machine in the room with Mulekick. The first punch card is a message to Peter McCain from Paxton Gunner Ridge, one of the Marines on Verrucht, saying Peter's reports on Group 935 aren't holding up at the Pentagon due to lack of evidence and that another American agent was sent to replace him. Also, he says Tank Dempsey has been assigned to protect Peter's wife while he was away, and they've been getting a little too friendly. He wishes for a safe return and signs off. The next punch card is from Commissar Markov to Dragovich, saying Viktor Reznov was in the process of being promoted to captain, but then stated in the drunken rage after Kravchenko denied his promotion that dying in battle was better than coming home after a war. They have no choice but to object his promotion, as Reznov is now a disillusioned old man. Markov wonders if the promotion has anything to do with whether the information from the prisoners of war at the Dury's facility have any influence. All of these hidden lore dialogues really help the map feel like it's a Treyarch creation and make it indistinguishable from an official remastered map. Even though I didn't really get a whole lot of the story, it's still very interesting to learn about different connections these characters had. The writers did a fantastic job at keeping things lore friendly and inserted stories where information was missing. It really shows how much love and care was put into this map, as many people overlook radios and hidden files like this, but the ones that stop and listen are well rewarded for their time. Now, let's finally get into the main quest. The Riese Declassified Easter egg starts with something we're all familiar with, the original flytrap Easter egg. It functions identically to the OG, so you have to get your packed weapon and shoot the button outside the map. Samantha wants to play hide and seek, so you go find 3 items around the map and shoot them. They're in the same exact locations as the original Riese. Up in the window, in the cage, and then in the incinerator. To start the expanded portion of the main quest, you have to overload each teleporter in order for you to travel to different locations. First, for teleporter B, you need to turn the valves on these vats in order to get the water to start bubbling. Once that's done, the paddle next to the teleporter will begin blinking and you can interact with it to overload the teleporter. Taking it brings you to a cryopod workshop where you can find the walnut teleporter and a piece of the map's wonder weapon, the Wonderwap DG sharpshoots. There's a lot of detail put into this small room, so it's worth looking around for as long as you can. Next, to overload teleporter A, you need to shoot electrical boxes in a certain order. This teleporter brings you to Samantha's room, where you can hear Dr. Monty speaking in the background to the door. Here, you can pick up the final part for the DG sharpshoots. Our final teleporter is teleporter C. To overload this one, you have to shoot the lights on the wall and link them together to form an X, and then shoot the intersecting point in order to send a charge of electricity to teleporter C. Teleporter C brings you to a place we're all familiar with, the forest from the Black Ops 3 main menu. After a few seconds, the elemental shard will spawn over the campfire for us to pick up, and upon doing so, the forest gets transformed into a stunning Dark Ether version, with an apothecon roaring in the distance. A dark entity version of Sam spawns and tells Richtofen he'll never succeed, and to swallow his pride, as far worse things than him exist in the Dark Ether.
This is fucking crazy!
You will never succeed in this, Edward.
Pretty sure it was not good idea to make it so mad.
Madness will swallow your pride. Something far more terrible than you lies here.
I absolutely love this sequence visually. It looks stunning, and the apothecon looking down on you really gives you chills. Story sequences like this are always nice to see in zombie maps. It reminds me a little of the Brutus monologue in Blood of the Dead, having your enemy talk to you while you're helpless just before the boss fight. Once teleported out, we're back at spawn with the elemental shard next to us. Interacting with it starts a long and drawn out sequence where we have to follow the shard around to use the 3 teleporters around the map and defend it in certain locations. It's almost directly ripped from the finale of Tagged and Toten. These holdouts are not easy, as most of the time they're in areas that are really close quarters. What makes this last step stand out is along the way, at certain points in the map, story segments happen, where we're placed in sort of a flashback vision that gives us a deeper look into the story of Dr. Maxis and Dr. Richtofen, and the Riese facility as a whole. Our first flashback shows us the time when Maxis spoke to German officers for extra funding for his projects.
November 23rd, 1939. Running low on funding, Maxis turns to the Reichstag out of desperation. The party, on a ground level interested in the weapons and teleportation technology, were quick to offer to fill that need. To the higher-ups in the SS, the real prize was the reanimation experience. In their mind, with technology like this, fresh off the heels of the start of World War II, it'd be impossible to stop. In exchange for all the funding he would need, the Nazi Party requests only 2 things: loyalty and victory.
The second flashback is broken up into a few segments separated by holdouts. It recounts how Richtofen trapped Maxis and his daughter in the teleporter.
October 13th, 1945. Having been humiliated and reduced to a mere lab assistant, Dr. Edward Richtofen assisted Maxis in his teleporter trials. The very field that Maxis had mocked Edward for investing his time into.
As a team!
Richtofen, being an expert on teleportation, ensured that Maxis' tests failed. Out of desperation, and in dire need of subjects, Maxis brought his daughter's dog, Fluffy, into the chamber, tied it down, and activated the machine. Viewing it as a failure, Maxis began test number 6. At the moment of activation, Fluffy was returned to the chamber, but something was wrong. Samantha spots her dog, her only friend, distorted almost beyond recognition, and lets out a scream. Unbeknownst to the father and child, however, this is all according to Richtofen's plan. The dog chased Maxis and his daughter, forcing them into the teleporter chamber as Richtofen sealed the door, trapping them inside.
Dr. Maxis.
The third and final flashback shows us the Soviets and American forces' arrival at the Riese facility.
December 24th, 1945. While undertaking a clandestine precursor to Operation Sovyanka, Soviet forces obtained intel from a Nazi POW. A weapons production facility in Breslau was brewing dangerous technology, unrivaled by any of the world's superpowers. Under the orders of Soviet High Command, a highly skilled team of soldiers, including one, Pavel Gorky, enter the facility. After discovering the disturbing experiments taking place, they swiftly take out all staff they find and exfiltrate as much technology as possible. This operation hastily came to an end as American forces found their way to the facility, causing a standoff with the Soviets and their components. Records of this incident were found on one Dalton Bean Stater, recovered from the personal belongings of Friedrich Steiner after his death at Rebirth Island.
The last thing that the Shard does is take you up to the infamous Riese catwalk for one final holdout. And let me tell you, this is the highlight of the Easter egg. The lighting changes, the music ramps up, the edge of the catwalk lights on fire, and you fight endless waves of the undead, and relive how it used to feel back when you were younger sitting on this very catwalk. It's just an awesome set piece.
Fine, Nick. Go pick up Papio.
After some time has passed, the screen fades to white and you can go over to the teleporter pad to start the final encounter. An in-game cutscene plays and the boss fight begins. Before we get into that, I just want to reflect on that whole last step. The entire Shard escort is like a 20-minute endeavor, and it's a battle of attrition with the undead. It feels like it takes forever. These holdout spots are not easy, and ammo is very difficult to come by. If I could change it, I'd cut out like maybe 2 holdouts, and maybe make the Shard move a little bit faster based on kills near it, just to cut some time down. But I can appreciate a challenging step. Also, the music during this step is great. It's high intensity and sets the mood just right. Now back to the boss fight. Well, just before it, I guess. The cutscene that plays shows our crew in an ice-filled area, standing face to face with the shadowy Samantha Maxis.
Hello, Samantha.
Your luck just ran out, Edward!
In-game cutscenes and custom maps are always such an amazing thing to see. It really elevates the experience to feel like a paid premium map. This cutscene is short, but it does its job showing us who we're up against, an enraged Samantha. She floats in the middle of the arena surrounded by a shield that makes her invulnerable for now. Zombies and water elementals from Black Ops 4 swarm you as you run around the arena. She's got a few attacks that she throws at you. The first is a meteor slam. She hovers flaming rocks above certain areas for a bit and then slams them down. Next, she can freeze the ground and make it so you're limited to a small circle to survive in. Another is a heat-seeking electrical orb that you have to outrun. And lastly, she can summon hellhounds. After a while, teddy bears appear around her that you must shoot to progress the fight. Once the bubble disappears, you can just lay into her with bullets. This fight is honestly not my favorite. The attacks really are not that threatening, and Samantha has so much health I wasn't even sure I wasn't doing any damage at certain points. A more clear indication of progression or a health bar would have done wonders here. It comes down to just running around in circles waiting to shoot her. I will say though, I'd always rather have a boss fight than a Bible ending, so I can't complain too much. Once defeated, the crew was teleported to the next chronological map in the series, Kinder der Toten.
Entry 741021! Perhaps this station will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the MDT was capable of time travel? How many stations does this group have? Where did that little girl disappear to? Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
I love how the cutscene ends in the same way Kino starts up. It does a great job connecting the maps and showing the context to where we are in the story if you didn't already figure it out. This little cutscene left the community thinking about a Kinder der Toten Declassified coming next, but it's been like 5 years now with no word, so I wouldn't get my hopes up. So that wraps up the Riese Declassified. By remastering what made the classic World at War map so special, while working in fan-made lore-accurate storytelling and modern gameplay features, this map is a prime example on how a custom map can both preserve and expand the map's legacy. While The Giant took the map in a completely new direction, Declassified leaned into a more authentic experience, having World War II era weapons and a darker, more eerie atmosphere. They even brought back the ticking clock sound effect. The main quest and the many side quests added give the Riese a whole new layer to experience. This map left a huge impact on the Custom Zombies community, with it being a top 10 most subscribed custom map of all time, with the page having almost 1 million visitors. Maps like these set the bar very high for what a custom map can be, blurring the lines between professional Treyarch development and a fan-made creation. Thank you all so much for sticking around to the end. Let me know what you think about this map in the comments, and don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed. Many more custom map retrospectives to come, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any. Thanks for watching. I'll see you.